Hello, 'tis Halloween, and I've decided to bless you disgusting scum with not only a vinyl update video, but a vinyl update video that I've probably made so fucking inconvenient due to this stupid lighting situation. But it'll be fucking spooky, and that's what we're going for. We're gonna look at some records. I actually pulled out some 7-inch records as well. So this video will be a little bit longer, just so I get to be annoyed for longer than normal. So without fucking around for too long, I say we just get into it. And there is the theme. The theme is scary. And that is a theme that I came up with after I chose the records, because there's not any one clear defined type of scary here. So I say we wing it and we'll figure out what kind of scary the records are as we show them. So we're gonna start out with a 7-inch record being this. This is Slasher Dave with Hauntings. Now the word hauntings implies ghosts, and ghosts are obviously fucking scary. Now actually this is quite cool. This came out last year, and what this is 3 songs. Now 2 of the 3 songs were previously released, just digital only. And then when the actual 7-inch came out through Bellyache Records, the song The Haunted House was included on this, which was a new song. This is actually a really cool idea. What this is, from what Slasher Dave himself said, is that these are songs that are made up of samples that came from like dollar store Halloween toys. This definitely has kind of like a lo-fi 80s soundtrack, sort of campy vibe to it. But the songs are, you know, they sound like they're made with Halloween toys, which is really, really cool. I like the front cover. It's kind of like the Scream mask. Back cover, very simple, put out through Bellyache Records. It comes with this little sheet with a ghost and then 3 little, it looks like tape-on masks, sort of. Kind of like the Halloween 3 mask, the witch skull and pumpkin, quite cool. And this was put out on white vinyl, and I don't think any limitations were specified or anything like that, but it's very cool. You can still get this thing through Bellyache. I recommend you do, because it's not expensive. It's super unique, and Slasher Dave is a really talented dude, and he should be encouraged. So check it out if you've never heard it. That's Slasher Dave with Hauntings. The next record that we're going to look at is a different kind of scary. The kind of scary that this is how absolutely impossible this thing is to find. I would go as far to say that this is probably the most rare record in my entire collection. This is Black Magic SS with the Owls of Winter and Talisman. So if you remember, I did own a bootleg of this that I showed. And I'm not gonna go into too much detail about how I acquired this. I will say that I got it for free, and I will say it required a sacrifice. But I don't wanna say more than that. This thing is limited to 10 copies. And it is kind of just a paper fold over sleeve. And the vinyl itself is just black with nothing on the labels. So if you're not familiar with this is 2 songs, The Owls of Winter and Talisman, that are entirely acoustic, with the normal sort of Black Magic SS vocals being either the sort of retched, screamed type vocals, or just plain like singing. But it's very, very weird. I've never heard anything quite like this, with, you know, the sort of harsh vocals with strictly acoustic guitar. Now from what I understand about this, and I don't know if it's true, I was told that this was a release that came basically as tribute to the death of this band's drummer at one point. And that maybe that's why there's no, I guess that's probably why there's no drums. But you know, this band is surrounded with so much like mystery that it's hard to say for sure what is and is not just, you know, like mythologized. But I like it. I like how enigmatic everything is, and Black Magic SS is easily like one of my favorite projects going, and this release is like I said, there's 10 of these. Literally impossible to find. So to say I lucked into this one is an absolute understatement. If you've never heard it, it's weird, it's not for everybody. I imagine it's completely polarizing in every sense of the word. You're gonna fucking hate this if you don't love it, so, But if you haven't heard it, check it out. That's Black Magic SS, The Owls of Winter, and Talisman. Alright, the next record is a more monstrous kind of scary. And this is a grindcore classic from way back in 1989. This is Repulsion with Horrified. Now, if you've got any sense about you, and you've been collecting for more than 5 minutes, you probably should own Repulsion's Horrified, especially if you like grindcore. Now, I have always been a little bit iffy on grindcore. I'm very, very picky about it. I've never really delved too deeply into, you know, the grind underground, but Repulsion is an undeniable classic of grindcore. And one of the things that makes this band special, especially over bands like Carcass, is this band put out a fucking banger and then dipped. They didn't stick around long enough to put out Repulsion's swan song, so I would say that there's respect earned there. But this record is fucking great, man. This is an absolute assault on your eardrums from the moment it starts till the moment it finishes. This one does not let up. Every song is very fast and relatively short. I think there's 18 songs on this one, and it's less than half an hour long. So the songs are, you know, like a minute and a half each. But I mean, it's great. The problem is, for me, and the reason that I never really got too deep into grindcore, is after song 8, 9, it does start to sound a little bit monotonous. There's a cool sound here. I'm glad there's not 14 records of it. There was some stuff that was released after this one, including like I think it was just a couple demos or something like that in 1991 before this band actually stopped releasing music. And I think this band still plays live. I might be making that up, but I don't know. So yeah, this is a 2020 press of this one through Relapse Records. We all know the album cover. This is what I'll look like in a few days' time. There's the back cover right there. You got the track listing, band members, of course, Scott Carlson on bass and vocals. He did some stuff for some other pretty notable like death metal bands back in the day. It does come with an inner sheet that includes all the lyrics, which is quite cool. And the record itself is super nice. It's probably gonna be a little bit tough to show in this stupid fucking lighting that I have, but we're gonna try. Oh, it's not that bad. Yeah, you see, it's like reddish brown with a bunch of different types of splatter. It looks nice looking through it to the other side of the light, but I've got no good way of showing you that, so I'm not gonna fucking bother. But basically, if you like grindcore, you know Repulsion, you know Horrified. This thing gets repressed pretty often, so there's really no reason not to own it if you love it. Yeah, I just put it off for so fucking long because I know it's not something that I'll pull out all that often. But it's a great record, hella fucking spooky. Check it out, Horrified. Alright, next up we're going to look at a record whose theme is around a sort of era of horror movies. Probably the best era by most people's standards, which I think would be the 1980s, just sort of objectively speaking. And this is actually another Slasher Dave project here, but I would say a lesser known one. This is Horrific with Your Worst Nightmare. Horrific, kind of like Repulsion actually, is a one and done band. Or at least done so far. There's not been anything else besides this one record, and this one came out back in 2009. And like I said, this is a Slasher Dave project, so Slasher Dave, besides the vocals, I'm not certain what he does on this, but he does do the vocals, and they are like sort of stoned era acid witch vocals. But this one is, dare I say, horrifically underrated, pretty much in every sense. This record is so much fun. I love the sort of sound samples, including the one at the beginning, which is quite long. It's very, very campy, very fun. Borders on silly at points, but I love that. This also has Billy Nocera on it. I don't know what these dudes do individually. I'm sure it says on the inner sleeve, and I'll point it out when I see it. But this thing is just super fucking catchy. There's a lot of really groovy moments you can't help but sort of nod along with. It's sort of littered with these really, really gnarly guitar solos and just infectious choruses. I really, really like this record. It's such a shame that I don't see this one going around more frequently. You can get this thing for like $10 on Discogs. It's still available on Hell's Headbangers. I'm sure this version is still available. It's absolutely fucking worth it. The album cover is very silly. It kind of looks like something out of a comic book, but there's a lot of really nice details in this image that I won't go through and point out, you know, all of, but you can see it's very, very cool. The back cover is pretty simple. It's just song titles and additional art put out through Hell's Headbangers. There you have all the lyrics and Slasher Dave and Billy Nocera at the bottom there. So Billy Nocera just wrote the lyrics. Slasher Dave did everything else. So this is basically a Slasher Dave record. Yeah, it's fucking fantastic. I totally believe that. This sounds like something Slasher Dave made basically by himself. You have very similar art to the background there. I think that's actually the same image. And the record itself is super cool. Green and blue. Yeah, very nice. I don't have a record that looks quite like this. So the half and half is cool, but green and blue works perfectly with the album cover. Very cool. So take my advice and don't let yourself be a stranger to this record. This shit is so much fun. Check it out. Horrific, Your Worst Nightmare. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at a record that came out way back in 1999. Though I think this is the first vinyl press of this specific release. This is Graveland with IMPALER'S Wolves. Obviously a very polarizing project as well. Just, I guess, political opposition to specific members in a band, which I have no idea why that would bother anybody, but whatever. I get to listen to Graveland and a lot of people don't. So, their loss. If you're not familiar with what IMPALER'S Wolves is, this is two songs that originally came off the Carpathian Wolves full-length album, and they are basically re-recorded and extended versions of the song The Impaler of Wallachia and In the Northern Carpathians. And what a fucking difference the re-recording made, man. The original versions of those two songs that are on this were very thin and cold sounding, basically what you would expect from like 90s black metal. The re-recording sounds very grandiose and full. The production quality is a lot better and it's a lot louder and it's just a lot punchier and it's such a fucking improvement. I like everything about the re-recorded versions more than the original, including the vocals, which are a bit more Popeye-y on this version here, but I love that. The front cover is obviously just a picture of Vlad Tepes, which with that hat stash combo was pulling pussy on the reg. Back cover is very simple, put out through Inferno Profundus Productions. Like I said, just two tracks. They're both around 12 minutes each, I think. I don't know if there was any limitations specified. There was a white version as well. I just went with the black version because for some reason the white version was like $5 or $6 more expensive. And unlike that Art Wrestling record I talked about previously, I didn't make that mistake again. So this does come with all the lyrics and a picture of Darkin on the other side, but it also comes with a poster, which I'll show you. There you go. There is not a picture of Rob Darkin out there that is not thug as hell. But yeah, man, everything about this is better than the original versions. If you can, I would say just grab this now because I don't know if this is something they plan on keeping in press. So who knows, it could be a buy now or cry later situation with this one. I don't know, it's fucking awesome. If you've never heard it, check it out. Graveland, IMPALER'S Wolves. Alright, next up we're going to take a look at some cosmic horror from somewhere deep in outer space. This is Spectral Voice with Eroded Corridors of Unbeing. I know, I am so late to the Spectral Voice party. This record came out in 2017, which was the same time that Starspawn came out from Blood Incantation. And Blood Incantation and Spectral Voice were both very hyped up around the same time. And I was fucking all in for Blood Incantation. Spectral Voice, I listened to a little bit of this record at that time and it didn't click and I kind of forgot about it. Then I noticed it had been a few years, Dark Descent was having a sale, so I just bought it for like $13 or something. And I'm so glad I did, man. This is such a good record. This is a very, I guess for lack of a better word, this is a very fluid record. It doesn't let you get too comfortable with any one sound because it's constantly changing. There's a lot of like fucked up scary soundscapes that sort of break up the individual like sections of sort of mid-paced death doom. It's not super technical, but technical is a characteristic I think could be nicely applied to Spectral Voice. This is made up of a few of the guys from Blood Incantation. This is basically just a few of those guys doing like death doom with almost even like a similar type of aesthetic and theme, I guess. The vocals are kind of like deep whispery growls, which I fucking love. And it's just good, man. Lots of interesting sort of transitions on this one. I've got no complaints. I'm super excited to see what this band does next in terms of a full length, because this is the only one so far that came after kind of a fat stack of like demos and shit, dating back to I think 2015 is when this band formed. But anyway, album cover is quite weird. I've got no idea what it is. There's the back cover right there with some track listing put out through Dark Descent, like I said. This one's kind of weird because it is a gatefold. I like the picture of the band members with the sort of like galaxy or cloud or whatever the fuck above them. Very cool. This is kind of just like a single sort of panel here, and the record slides into the middle. Don't know why. I can't say I approve personally, but whatever. I don't ever keep the record actually in the pocket anyways. I did just get the black vinyl. There was another version, but that version wasn't on sale. Didn't feel like spending $6, $7, $8 more on a different variant. Same thing with the Graveland record I talked about a minute ago. But this also includes a booklet, which has just a picture of the band on the back. And every page is just more fucking weird art that you can't make out. I guess we'll call it abstract, but I don't know what that could possibly be. But yeah, super fun, varied record. Just lots of really cool music on this one, I guess. Check it out if you've never heard it. Spectral Voice, Eroded Corridors of Unbeing. I looked deep within myself to think of what is the scariest thing that I could think of to show you to cap off a Halloween video. And after much deep introspection, I figured it out. But we'll get there in a second. This is FULCI with Tropical Sun. Now you might be thinking, why? Why would this be the scariest thing you could think of? We already talked about zombies. We talked about HORRIFIED earlier. That had a zombie on the cover. Of course, you know, this is a bit more specific of a zombie, but the theme is not why this is scary. Because to somebody like me, who puts so much time and money into purchasing records, the worst thing that I could think to happen is a record showing up fucking broken. Yeah, does your fucking heart hurt yet? Because mine does. Now, I'm still gonna talk about this record because it's fucking fantastic and I've heard it online. But I do have the guy I got this from. I got it through Life After Death. I think their Bandcamp page or something like that, based in the States. So it was the only time I saw this record going for sale in the States. I sent him a picture of the box being fucking obliterated and the record was broken, and I guess he is supposed to get copies of the repress and he's just gonna send me one of those. So, very nice film. But if you're not familiar with FULCI, this is an Italian death metal band, which you can see on the cover, there's the zombie from Zombie 2 there, and the band name is FULCI. So there's a clear theme going here. But this is probably one of the best things to come out in 2019. I absolutely fucking love this record. This is kind of like old school death metal, but I get a very like viral load sort of vibe from this one, and I think that's probably mostly in the vocals. If you can sort of hear any viral load vocals just off the dome, it's a lot like that. There are so many fucking groovy moments to this one that you just can't help but nod along to. The vocals are kind of barky, but like in the best way I could use that adjective. I have no complaints. The only complaint I have is that I can't fucking listen to the actual 12-inch here, which is a bummer, but whatever. You see the album cover is fucking awesome. The back cover is considerably less scary with these three dudes hanging out in front of some palm trees. It does come with an inner sheet with all the lyrics. As you saw, I had the white vinyl, which was limited to 200 copies. So if you have a copy of the white vinyl of FULCI's Tropical Sun, it now became even more limited because there are only 199 copies that you can actually fucking play. Absolutely overly fun death metal. There are some sort of samples on this one that just are sort of throughout the record. Voodoo Gore Ritual is one of them, I think. Witch Doctor is definitely one of them. Yeah, it's just samples that are sort of like interludes in the record. There's a few of them, and they're all really cool. The opening one, Voodoo Gore Ritual, is kind of like a synthy song, but it's super cool. It fits the mood fucking perfectly, and if you've never heard it, you gotta hear it. That's FULCI with Tropical Sun. And that's it for me. I think I'm going to now mosey back to the hole that I crawled out of and rest until the next time I feel like making one of these stupid fucking videos. Luckily this one was not as super inconvenient as I was expecting it to be with the lighting situation. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and we will be back soon with more. Later.